Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Magento Fireside chat. We're still in our testing tools series. Today, we want to focus again on Selenium tests and on some special screenshot features there. They will tell us a little bit about that. And then we have Bastian showing us how to test Magento modules in different Magento versions on Travis CI and on Jenkins. So the Hangout for everybody watching this live has a Q&A section. We will look at that, so feel free to ask any questions there. We will pick them up and talk about them. Yeah, so let's get started with David.
All right, let me start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, now we do.
All right, so a couple weeks ago, I think Fabrizio showed off this Menta Selenium testing framework that we've been working with, and I think you also showed the sample project a little bit. So today I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that we can do with the screenshots. So this is assuming that you already have Menta and the Menta sample project already set up, and we're just going to change the way that we're doing some of the screenshot stuff here in the default project. So here we have a test, the single product view test, where we're just we're loading up the product single view page object, and then opening this particular product. I don't know why that one's special, but that's the one that we're using, and then just taking a screenshot of it. So what we get with that is this page here with just the screenshot with nothing special happening, and that's it. So something that would be interesting for this is if we go here and let's see, so we can add a review for this product just so that we can change this product a little bit and show one of the first features here. So I'm going to give this a crappy review. So now we have another review for this product, and the review stars have lowered because of this as soon as I approve this view here in the back end. So I'm going to update, approve. Okay, so now our stars here should be a little bit different. And then I'm going to go over here and pretend like I created a build since this review was given. So this is my little kind of fake build thing, and then we have the actual screenshot test. So this will run. This is just running that one test where we take a screenshot of that one product. All right, now that took a screenshot of the test or took a screenshot of that page, and then ran this the screenshot gallery printer again, and you'll see that we found a difference here. If you look at these two, you'll barely be able to see that anything changed with this slider. But if you focus on the this doesn't like being resized. If you focus on the stars, you'll see it a little bit, but where you really see it is here in the pdiff. You'll see that the review changed here, and also it looks like this is an old one. So you'll see that the review stars changed here, and that's just a very small change, but you wouldn't have been able to see that unless we had this pdiff next to it. And this slider here will show the after and the before. So that'll also allow you to see exactly where the difference is without it being blurry like that over here. So the point with this is we don't care about this. We don't care that the stars changed from a testing point of view, because that's just something that's going to change regardless of of anything else. So we should block this out, and the way that we can do that is by adding a block of color over that section. So I prepared a little snippet for this just so that this goes faster. And here's how we can do this with the Menta screenshot processing. So here, instead of just taking the screenshot, we're taking the screenshot and keeping the screenshot, and then we're going to add some processing instructions to it. So for this, we're finding the rating area element by just using this CSS class that I found is wrapping that area, and then we're passing that element to this rectangle processor, which adds a rectangle on top of that area. Now there's a bunch of nulls here because you can also go in and actually set the x, y, x2, y2 coordinates, or if the first parameter is a WebDriver element, it'll just find those coordinates for you. So for this instance, we're just passing the element so that we can get a box over the entire screen. And the way that this works is with graphics magic. So over here in the defaults configuration, you can see that we have these, well, here's the pdiff command here that I already showed, and then we have the command that we're running for the cropping here, and then we also have one down here for the rectangle. So this one's going to be the rectangle graphics magic command that we end up running. So I'll go ahead and create a build, which really this is just moving the screenshots that we took over to a previous screenshots area and then resetting this report screenshots. So I'll go ahead and run this test again. Now we have a big change, but that's just because we added a block over that entire section. So the next time we run this test, there'll be no change here, no matter what the no matter what the reviews are. So I'll just go ahead and say that this was a bad review, so I'm going to delete it with my admin skills. Okay, so now this will go back to its former glory of almost 5 stars. And we'll run another test here. And now we get an exact match because the screenshot here has a box drawn over the area where we don't care about. So something else that would help a little bit with this test, I think, is instead of having all of the header and the footer and everything, we really only care about the product detail section. So I'm going to crop into just this section, and we can pay attention to only that part. So for that, I have another snippet I prepared before. So this is just going to be another processing instruction on top of the original one. So you can have as many processor instructions that you want for this one screenshot, and they just stack on top of each other. And at the time of the rendering of the reports page, they get taken into account, and the graphics magic command gets run on those screenshots. So this, I found the class product view is what we want to look at. So we're grabbing that content area element and then passing that to the screenshot crop processor. And that looks almost the same as the other one, except for we don't have any special instructions because all we're doing is cutting that portion of the image and creating a new image from that. So now we can run the test again. And we're actually going to get a huge pdiff here, but that might be cool to look at. So we have a huge diff here because I changed the entire screenshot from being this huge one to just the product view content area. And you'll see that we still have the pink thing here. So next time we create a build and take another screenshot, there's going to be no pdiff here because we're just looking at this one little content area. So those are the two things that we have so far. Some things that I've been working on recently that aren't ready yet are detecting how big of a change there is from screenshot to screenshot and making the test fail because of that. Either making the test fail or since the processor runs at render time, it's going to be hard to make the test fail, so maybe we can make the build fail, but I think it might be nice to actually make the test fail instead for people that aren't actually using a build process but still want to run these nice Selenium screenshot features. So that's it for me. Any questions?
Check. Nope, no questions coming in. But yeah, so thank you very much, David. I have like one small comment. The line that that David showed with the like moving stuff away and making room for the new build, that's basically simulating Jenkins, because what pdiff basically does is comparing one build to the previous build, and so he was just faking that. I'm not sure if that was clear from the one line. So usually if you integrate that into Jenkins, for example, that's what Jenkins does for you, and any other build system will probably also allow you to access the test report from the previous build to compare the files generated there to the new ones. Yeah, so the pdiff thing is basically only meant to be like a visual check for humans initially, at least, until there is some thresholds comparing or counting pixels or so. And yeah, which of course there might be changes from one build to another build, but that doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong, because obviously tests will be projects will evolve and there will be changes and they're good. So it's up to the human looking at the test results to judge if every change is okay or not. That's the basic idea behind that whole pdiff thing. Yeah, thank you very much, David. That was very good.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that line. I kind of glossed over that section.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So still no questions coming in. So let's switch to Bastian. Bastian, are you ready?
I am. All right. So my topic today is having Magento unit tests run with different Magento versions in a simple way, because we all for sure love unit testing and PHP unit, but we always have the issue that, for example, we develop a module and we have like a ton of setups to set up a Magento, link the Magento module inside, run the unit tests, make sure that the databases and everything work fine. So to tackle this issue, we created a module called Mage Test Stand, which is still alpha but works pretty well so far. And this is basically taking care of everything, like setting up the databases, installing Magento, and stuff like this. So you can find this module on our AOE people account, where it's up to date and should work like this. So basically what it does, I'm starting with the Jenkins configuration. Usually you have your module, you have everything set up. So what I'm using here is the so-called multi-configuration project. Let me just see if I can switch this to English. One second. Well, no, but I'm just going to translate. So basically, in a multi-configuration project, you set it up as every other Jenkins build job. So in this case, we are going to use AOE people, the AOE profiler. So we just set up a Git repository to check this stuff out, use the master branch here, and then we have this configuration matrix options, and there we define a so-called axis. The name is set to Magento_version, all uppercase, which is then injected as an environment variable. And the values here are the different Magento values we want to use to test it. So in this case, it's Magento CE 1.7 to 1.9. And then we have only one shell script that we execute, which is just a curl that to the mage test stand setup.sh, which is piped to bash, and that takes care of everything. You can, for sure, if you are unsure about running the stuff out of the box or without looking at it, access the setup.sh, make sure it's nice and not doing anything evil, and copy the stuff in this execute shell step. But in this case, we just pipe it here because this is the easiest way. So what this multi-configuration project does is basically, instead of running the job once, it's running the job for every possible configuration. In this case, for every Magento version we specified. And I'm going to just start this. So we got a new build, number 22 here. And as soon as this started, come on. Okay, it first needs to fetch the AV profile, which is apparently now failing because of my VM settings, but that doesn't matter because I have quite a few working builds here. So basically here in configurations, you see the different configurations. We can, as always, check the console output, which is in this case just triggering the sub builds with the dedicated version. So if we look, for example, in the 1702, we again have this completely built thing, can look into the step. In the build 21, can check the console output. And here it's first checking out our project, AOE profiler, as usual. And then here it's setting the curl setup script, which in the end starts with installing first making sure that the databases called usually mage test send and mage test send underscore, but you can for sure specify your own values using environment variables, which is all documented in the README. So you don't need to write it down right now. So it's first installing Magento using the N98 mage run. Then doing some re-indexing, making sure that Magento is fine. Then it's using Composer to install ecomdev PHP unit. And in the end, as usual, it's running the tests, making sure everything is fine. And then in the end, it's removing the temporary folder where the stuff is currently checked out. So right now we are having this temporary folder, which needs to be removed because Jenkins can't take care of removing the temporary folders. But we will change it in the future release to be in the workspace folder as soon as we found the best and cleanest way to do this. All right, so basically what we have done with this, with one build, is to trigger a few sub builds with the same configuration but a different environment variable. And this is then super easy to, for example, add another Magento version or remove Magento versions here by just specifying them in the configuration. So what we also want to achieve with the mage test stand is to have an easy usable setup for the stuff. So you are not limited to use this with Jenkins. You can also use this with, for example, Travis. So in this case, we have the AOE profiler in Jenkins and Travis CI, which is an open source test runner for GitHub. This is basically doing the same. If we look here in our travis.yaml, we specify the environments, the Magento versions, which are used to run. And also what we have here are different PHP versions. This is something which is not that easy to do with Jenkins because of the system PHP, but might be possible as well. And then again, we have the script configuration where we just run again this curl script, pipe it into bash. And this works in the same way here in Travis as in Jenkins. It's building the different jobs with the different Magento versions you can see here in the end, as well as a dedicated PHP version. And if we look into one of these jobs, we see it's doing basically exactly the same. It's cloning the AOE profiler, setting up the environment here, and then again doing the setup curl call to bash here again. And here we see again the AOE mage test stand. So here we have the default environment or the default settings for user root and an empty path, which is enough for Travis to set the databases up and everything. But for example, for Jenkins, we need different credentials. So here we see the same stuff again, also this color support. We see here Composer taking care of installing everything. We see here Modman deploying everything, and then again the tests. And yeah, as I said, the idea is to have everything super easy. So basically, if you want to use this mage test stand for any module, you can use the README where examples are set. So you can either use the sample Travis YAML file, you can use the Jenkins configuration, which is explained here. And also something nice is you can unit test your modules directly in your on your local machine from your shell. So in this case here, I'm having the AOE profiler checked out locally. I've set the workspace environment variable to be on exactly this path. I set it, the Magento version environment variable to be Magento CE 1901. And if I now run this one-liner, it's again doing the same, setting everything here up. It's cloning the test stand. Here you can see the temporary directory where it's installed to. It's setting up Magento here using an N98 mage run. It's already have set up the databases. And now this takes a few seconds to install Magento if everything works well. And there we go. It's re-indexing and basically doing the same. Okay, in this case, I have some troubles with my MySQL server, so we won't be able to go further here. But yeah, basically it's doing exactly the same as Travis and Jenkins without the possibility to run it with multiple Magento versions at once. But yeah, so basically this is a way you can set up Jenkins to run module unit tests against different Magento versions. You can also, in this configuration, set up stuff like, for example, if you have Magento CE versions and want to always run this once with the sample data, once without, you can add a new access and name this like install sample data, and then just modify the setup script a little bit. Only stuff to make sure the installed sample data is only installed when this flag is set, and Jenkins will take care of building a matrix with every possible combination. And yeah, so as I said, in this case we only have the different versions, and you can also check out then for every version the console output to check if everything runs smooth or investigate if something goes wrong. So yeah, basically this is our simple setup. I hope this helps you to improve your unit tests, to run more unit tests, to write more unit tests. Feel free to suggest improvements. As I said, we are working on the stuff with the temporary directory because this is still not a very good solution because the temporary directory is not cleaned up by Jenkins. So this cleanup trap will be removed in future release as well as the temporary directory. Yes, so I think this is everything important. This was rather short, but I hope you understand everything. Otherwise, feel free to ask now. Yeah, thanks for watching. Any questions?
So no question coming in through the Q&A tool. Yeah, thank you very much, Bastian, for showing the Mage test stand, and I hope that will increase our the number of unit tests across all modules, not only within AOE, but maybe somebody else picks that up and starts using that. So basically, it's as easy as just introducing this one .travis.yaml file, and Travis CI takes control, takes over the management of talking to GitHub, finding out when there's new commits happening. Travis CI is actually really cool. It also will automatically try to build your project with any pull requests coming in, or will do that for every branch. It's ridiculously simple. That makes it really fun to have Magento modules easily tested on many different Magento versions at the same time. Good. So
I have a question unrelated to Mage Test Stand.
Yeah.
Is that Chuck Norris thing like a module that you added to your?
Yeah, this is a Jenkins plugin. You can have a post-build script called activate Chuck Norris, and this will add a random Chuck Norris fact to every of your build pages.
Does it cause your tests not to be as meaningful because he like scares them all into passing?
Yeah, it helps to pass, and otherwise he'll be angry if it's not passing.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, David and Bastian, for preparing for preparing these presentations. And yeah, I guess that's it for today. This is a short one, nevertheless a very interesting one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.